found sound and found text. So when we're talking about text, I think of found text as being text that is was not intended by the author to be art, but was actually maybe instructions for doing something, or the ingredients for something, or a method of assembling something that you bought from a store, like it, from the instruction manual, or you know, uh, uh, like an official um, notice that you may have gotten. So I take that language and it becomes the libretto, it becomes the lyrics for the work, instead of using um, a poem that was written by a poet that was intended from the very beginning to be art. And so then that just becomes like setting somebody else's poetry to music or writing my own poetry or lyrics. I sometimes do write my own poetry or lyrics, but more often the text is either found text, um, or it might be invented text. Like I might make sounds that sound lab, languagey. They sound verbal, but they're actually in like some kind of invented language or a language from another planet. Um, so, because as a singer, actually, and I think a lot of singers will relate to this, it's tricky. It's harder to sing music that has no syllables. I mean, it's hard to just sing anything other than sustained tones on just like solfege or vowel sounds. It's much easier to articulate rhythmic singing if you've got some consonants to land on, and it's more interesting, I guess, or it feels more natural and somehow communicative if there's some kind of verbal essence to the sounds. And so that's why I sometimes just start using found language, because I just need something to hang the notes on, and so the language does that for me. So I'm talking about found text now, but I can also say that with found sounds, I have a similar definition, which is that found sounds to me are sounds that are when you sample or record the sounds of actual objects or events that occur in your space or outside or whatever. So it could be me dropping my keys on the concrete floor in my studio and recording that, or it could be me filling basins of water in my kitchen sink and splashing that water to get some water samples, or it could be just recording the sounds of emergency vehicles sirens as they go by, or birds that are singing outside my window, or and so then those become found sounds, as opposed to hiring a cellist or a trumpet player to come into my studio and then ask them to play scales throughout their entire range and record those sounds and then make a bank of samples of cello sounds or trumpet sounds. Those are just sampled musical instruments. Those aren't really found sounds. Um, and I tend more to use the found sounds than not that I've never used samples of musical instruments, but when I use samples of my pieces, more often than not, they'll be found sounds.